Delsing spent 25 years on the PGA Tour and is a lifetime member of the PGA Tour and PGA of America. Now he provides his unique perspective as a golfer and network broadcaster. It's time to go on the range with Jay Delsing.
On the Range is brought to you by Pro-Am Golf.
Hey, good morning, St. Louis. This is Golf with Jay Delsing. I'm your host, Jay Perley. What's up?
Nothing, man. Just ready to get back to it. Exciting interview today, and makes me think of a lot of college time stories.
Yeah, really good stuff. All right, well, we formatted the show like a round of golf. So the first segment is called the On the Range segment. It's brought to our friends at Pro-Am Golf. Guys, if you're looking for equipment, you need anything in the world of golf, you got to go check out Pro-Am Golf. And then when you're finished with Pro-Am Golf, this is what Pearly does right after every show. He goes and looks at our social media stuff. My Twitter account is at Jay Delsing. Facebook is Golf with Jay Delsing, Jay Delsing Golf. LinkedIn is Jay Delsing, and Pearly handles all of the stuff that comes in on Instagram because
it's all looking good. Everything's in order.
All right, so this show, I'm syrupy. The more I listen to the show,
yeah, you're syrupy.
I'm a sap.
Why are you? Why is that?
Do we have enough time for this kind of
why
conversation?
Is it? Just give me off the top of your head, why is that?
I don't know. I guess as I'm aging, I'm feeling so...
At least you haven't teared up yet. You're definitely syrupy, but I haven't seen teared up.
No,
a couple times kind of close. Oh, I know you could.
I could. I mean, a commercial comes up and it's a Hallmark, and I'm like, look at that card. Oh my, it's awful. But I got over an hour with Jim Nantz. And it's not going to, we can't put it all in one show, obviously, so we're going to break it down this week and next. But I sit there and I just listen to that dude's voice, and I'm like, is he talking to me?
It adds a lot of class to the show, just for the record.
Yeah.
A lot of class.
It does. It's a little better off having his voice on there than ours.
Oh, no, you do a great job, but that's world-class.
Oh, the stories were
forever. I mean, and he named some of the names. Jack Whitaker, the predecessors, kind of to him. Yep. But he's
Jim McKay.
More than in that field as far as you and I are concerned.
Yeah. So we're going to cover a lot of things. We're going to talk about Bryson DeChambeau, the hottest thing on the PGA Tour right now. 100% is Bryson DeChambeau. Jim Nantz, of course, we have this. I dug up this weird article about golf lingo and some of the stupid, weird, unusual verbiage that we have when we start talking about stuff.
Most of us don't even know what it means.
Exactly, and you'll hear it all the time on the commentators.
And they don't know what it means either.
We've got, just to talk a little bit about, I've got a cool new relationship with David Faraday and Troops First. We've got... we'll touch a little bit about the virus. We've had 3 tournaments.
No, I'm not talking about the virus.
Good. You don't have to talk about it.
Good.
We got
good
3
luck talking without me.
3 tournaments. All right. We have 3 tournaments that we've had, with no spectators. There's been a couple glitches, but I'm really impressed with the leadership from Jay Monahan. Really impressed with what he's done. Setting up, being flexible and changing protocols.
I haven't noticed the glitches, and I know you just mentioned that. I'm just so happy that there's some sports on TV.
Absolutely.
And just thank goodness. And it never would have thought the golf would have been leading the way in the sports world, obviously with NASCAR as well. But thank goodness it gets something on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, all right, so let's just jump in. So,
we're going to go off script, just jump in?
It's hard to, what script? So, John, it's hard to talk about PGA Tour without speaking about Bryson DeChambeau. First of all, the dude has gained, 40, 50 pounds?
It's a lot. Jay, I was with him. We had a little cocktail party at Tiger's Hero event down in the Bahamas. So that's... What was that?
Did you remember when Pearly was just kind of traveling around? He'd go to Phoenix. He'd go down to what was
That's
it?
called
NASA?
doing research for the show to bring some firsthand experiences here.
Are you trying to say research and development here?
I've been at a golf course. I've been at the golf course in the tournament, bringing back the firsthand knowledge, the behind-the-scenes scoop.
I remember sitting in this room looking at meat and going, Where's Pearly?
Yeah.
How's this research ever come back to us?
We get golf balls. Pearly gets vacation.
Yeah, I finally got some of the of the sniper golf balls.
We're
by the way.
starting to
I'm
see
liking
how
them.
this whole thing lays out, Meade, aren't we? We got you and I are in the show, and Pearlie's
Anyway,
like, all right, where's Pearlie?
My wife and I, my lovely wife and I, were having a cocktail. I don't know that Bryson was having a cocktail, but I was, and I got to meet him for the first time and just kind of hang out with him for a couple minutes. First of all, what a nice, down-to-earth guy. If I wasn't as avid as I am watching golf, paying attention to golf, you wouldn't know the guy was anybody.
No, right.
You could tell at the time that he had bulked up some, but he's really, really bulked up. And, I'm not sure the timing-wise, because these hot, humid tournaments, he's kind of a sweat factory out there right now. That's got to be a bit of a downside for him.
But I tell you what, he's also a launch monster. He is smashing drives. Hit one drive 437 yards down at in Cromwell, Connecticut. But he's my player to watch. When we go to that Ohio swing, he's my player to watch. He's won at Memorial before.
Wow.
He gets to play there 2 weeks in a row. And those fairways over there, Pearl, are huge. Very wide. And but so breaking this down a little more than just these drives, because he's launching, folks. He's got his ball speed up to almost 200 miles an hour. Off
compared to what are the other guys
ridiculous
say?
170, 160, 180
is high, really high,
right?
And he's still
right.
What happens? We always talk about how much longer it goes. What happens if he just hits it? What's he hitting? 20 past the other guys? 25?
Oh, at least he was. Did you hear Did you hear what he played with Rory and Phil on Thursday and Friday this week? He hit a drive, and Mickelson walks by him and goes, "That's nasty."
Well, maybe that's why those guys couldn't hardly finish. I guess Rory actually kind of came back and finished, but maybe that's what put him on his heels a little bit. All of a sudden, somebody's blowing at 30 past him. Those guys they're used to maybe guys hitting 10 past him, 5 past him, whatever, but not 30.
Rory's the model. Phil's 50 years old, and he's doing everything he can to hold on.
Even with those skinny pants? We got to talk about those?
Bad look. Bad look. You looked like somebody threw an olive into like some sort of tight skin.
I was so hoping he was going to play well, and I see him. They show him on the driving range in the skinny pants, and I'm thinking to myself, there is no chance that he can play well with those things on.
He had the Euro look.
He's going to start sweating through them, and they're going to bust. In case
you didn't see it, I mean, Phil's the guy who's lost 30 pounds. He's kind of like he does, but he doesn't need to be wearing a thong. Or anything that resembles.
You're really pressing it on the thong, but that's even a worse image. I was thinking more of like a garlic stuffed olive, which I love, but I mean, not
they're still coming out on both sides a little bit. Yeah, right. And those are good. Those are good, but yeah,
even the commentator said something. You knew they wanted to. And all of a sudden, about the third hole, I think somebody said, "Wow, Phil's really got a sporty look going on there." I'm thinking, "Oh my
sporty
God,
my ass!" Could you imagine the conversations at break?
Oh yeah,
they had to be
dying. They're like, we have to say something because it's so there.
Obvious. Yeah,
but we have to be somewhat kind of respectable a little bit.
Yeah. But anyway, Phil's hanging on. But Roy's the model when it comes to driving. He launches it high. But what Bryson's doing, here's what I love about Bryson. He is spinning his own vibe. He's dancing and listening to his, the beat of his own drummer. And what he has done, which has gone completely under the radar, is he has made himself a good putter. And to watch him putt, you go, that's
weird.
That's so
but it's
uncomfortable.
all that mechanics.
John, he's what he's done is, so I dove a little deeper in that. What he's done is tried to figure out a way.
Wait a second, meet deep investigative journalism coming up right now. So go.
I'm not even saying
we should have an episode on that.
Just saying.
Jay goes deep. Let's have an episode.
I'm just saying. I clicked one more link.
That's closer to what I was thinking.
Yeah, so I clicked one more link. No, so what he's done though, if you look at the strokes gained, putting, and the stats. Which, 10 years ago, we didn't even have those. It's hard for me to fully understand those. But he's made himself a good putter. And what he's trying to do, John, is instead of, when we were playing, it was how can you be as relaxed and comfortable as possible. What he's trying to do is figure out a range of motion with your joints where they're maxed and they don't move anymore. And then putt that way so that he's taking out as many variables as possible.
Well,
the
he's
exact opposite of what Ben Crenshaw would do.
No question, but it's incredibly upright. It's almost vertical to the ground, right?
Is.
So when you're talking pendulum, there's true pendulum. When you and I talk, it's like, oh, don't come in off the line too much.
Right.
Don't come in off the line forward or back too much, all that kind of stuff. That's remarkably difficult to do, and even it's the way to go, and I still believe it, and we should do it. But ultimately, if you can get perpendicular to the ground, then you're either on the line or you're not on the line. The way we talk is, well, don't come in too far. It's a quarter inch in, a half inch in. He's back to the precision. But I want to make sure we talk about one thing with him. So he's been around for a while, Bryson. How many years has he been kind of prominent?
Oh, gosh. Well, he won the NCAA. He won the U.S. Amateur as an amateur, but he's only been a pro for what?
But you're
this
right.
is his fourth year,
He was
I guess.
even kind of prominent there, but certainly all 4 years as a pro. Have you seen anybody with the same length clubs
Not
and
yet.
go in his direction? It's going to be interesting because he keeps doing at least what you think he's going to do in the next couple of years. It's coming.
There's no doubt. Well, he's already won 5 times. Who else has won 5 times in their first 4 years on tour? And that putting stroke is so awkward looking, but man, is it effective. And he finishes T6 again this week up in Hartford. And you got to take your hat off to this guy.
And he said he can't figure out his wedges yet. So you're finished in the top 10. And I think he means that because of his newfound power. He's like, how do I gauge this to my 100 feels like I can't. I have to just breathe on it for it to go 100 yards.
Yeah, well, can you imagine him having your 60-degree sand wedge as long as your 6-iron?
No. Well, all that stuff
I know.
makes me
anxious.
But he keeps doing what he's doing. Somebody else is going to start doing it.
It's a copycat league, and all sports. And if you keep winning, you will get noticed.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. Well, that's going to wrap up the On the Range segment. Come back. We've got an interview with Jim Nantz. Man, the golden voice of Jim Nantz coming up on Golf with Jay Delsing.
WXOS HD1 East St. Louis, 101 ESPN.
For 67 years, Blue Fuse has been the ride to take. 15 brands at 11 locations. Blue Fuse Automotive. We are St. Louis.
This is Dan McLaughlin, TV voice of the Cardinals. St. Louis is one of the best sports cities in the country. We also have a tremendous history of supporting professional golf. We're excited to bring professional golf back to St. Louis with the inaugural Ascension Charity Classic, September 28th through October 4th at beautiful Norwood Hills Country Club. Legends like Ernie Els, Fred Couples, Jim Furyk, Steve Stricker, and many more will be in St. Louis. For tickets and sponsorship information, head to AscensionCharityClassic.com. That's AscensionCharityClassic.com.
Are your workouts more fun than this? Well, if they are, then I want to sign you to an endorsement deal with Michelob Ultra. I'm looking for anyone and everyone who makes working out a blast. If that's you, head to TeamUltra.com for a chance to score awesome perks like Team Ultra gear and more. That's TeamUltra.com to enter.
No purchase necessary. Open U.S. residents 21 plus. See official rules at TeamUltra.com. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Are you tired of forking out the big money, all those dollars on golf balls? Well, we finally have an option for you. Let us introduce you to Sniper brand golf balls. This brand new product is a Surlyn-covered ball that is just great to play. It's long off the driver, it's accurate with the irons, and importantly, it's soft around the green. And you know what the best part is? It's just $23.99 for a dozen. That's right, $23.99, and a portion of every sale goes back to a military or law enforcement agency. Find Sniper Brand online at thesniperbrand.com. Plus, you can follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and check out their entire line of golf products on their website, thesniperbrand.com. And don't forget to check out the Sniper Brand logo. You're going to love it.
I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Whitmore Country Club for sponsoring my show, Golf with Jay Delsing, again for the second year. When you join out at Whitmore, there's 90 holes of golf. You get access to the Missouri Bluffs, the Links of Dardenne, and the Golf Club of Wentzville, and the cart fees are already included in your membership. There's no food and beverage minimums. There's no assessments. They have a 24-hour fitness center, large pool complex, tennis. Man, they've just got great family-oriented stuff. And if you get over there, you got to go in the golf shop, and you have to say hello to my friend Bummer. Bummer is just a delightful guy that would love to help you and your family with your golf game. He and his staff out there run golf leagues, skins games, members tournaments, couples events are available all year long. If your family is looking for a place where you can hang out, have fun, enjoy good food, golf, sports, just a family-friendly atmosphere, you got to go to Whitmore Country Club. You can reach them at 636-926-9622.
You've seen it and played it in bars over the past 30 years, and now you can bring Golden Tee to your home. Complete your basement or man cave with the popular arcade game, The Ultimate Virtual Golfing Experience. Over 80 courses, unique game modes, and you can even challenge a buddy in online tournaments. However you play, you will be the talk of your neighborhood. Visit home.goldentee.com to learn more.
Grab your clubs. We're headed to the front nine on Golf with Jay Delsing.
The Front Nine is brought to you by the Ascension Charity Golf Classic.
Welcome back. This is Golf with Jay Delsing. Jay and John are here. And Pearl, we are moving to the front nine, which is brought to you by the Ascension Charity Classic, which can hardly wait for that tournament.
And you're getting ready, baby.
Yeah, we had a great little session last time with you. Thank you for your time and stuff.
The fades are starting to fade, and the draws are starting to draw. That's a good thing.
I didn't know which way to look. Yeah, it was great. Also want to thank Whitmore Country Club for their support of the show. Couldn't do this without them. If you're looking for a club to join, you've got to consider Whitmore Country Club. First of all, go to the golf shop and look up our friend Bummer. He's just a terrific guy, loves the game, does anything. He will do anything. I can say this with a boatload of confidence. He will do anything in his power to get you to fall in love with a game of golf.
Yeah, he's passionate.
Yeah, he's really great. He and his staff over there run golf leagues, skins games, members, tournaments, couples events all year round. There's a kids club in the main clubhouse. There's junior golf, junior tennis. There's swim teams available, really active social calendar. Even though in these times with social distancing and everything, they're doing a great job over there. So they're hosting a lot of things outside. They're keeping people apart, but there's live music. They're doing a really good thing out at Whitmore. With this membership comes 90 holes of golf. So you get access to the Missouri Bluffs, the Links of Dardenne, and the Golf Club of Wentzville, along with the 36 holes that are at Whitmore. And the golf cart fees are included in that membership. It's a big deal. It's a great deal. Bummer and I are going to get a little fall exhibition going. So
that's going to be your primer for Ascension.
Yeah. So
is he going to play in that thing? Are guys able to qualify locally, Jay, or try to qualify?
That hasn't come out yet with the PGA Tour. Are they and the Champions Tour? Because I don't believe there's qualified yet.
There's not
because of the virus. So,
okay. But normally there is, isn't there?
Normally there are. Yeah, it's a 4-spot deal. So reach out to Bill Brungart. He's the membership director, and you can find him at 636-926-9622. All right. So this guy needs very little introduction.
Many doubted we'd ever see it, but here it is. The return to glory. I never thought we'd see anything that could rival the hug with his father in 1997, but we just did.
That will be the greatest scene in golf forever, Jim Nantz.
The Jim Nantz interview on Golf with Jay Delsing is brought to you by Golden Tee.
Can't believe how long we have been friends.
I know, Jay. All those years out there on the PGA Tour and watching you handle yourself with such class and dignity, and you had some really good moments on our air at CBS that we had the chance to document. And I loved running into you when we were at Belle Reve for the PGA Championship coming up on 2 years ago. That was a very special championship, the 100th playing of it, and boy, did the city and the area, the surrounding areas come out and support Belle Reve in that championship. It was a wonderful, wonderful sight.
Jim, I'm incredibly partial to the city, obviously, but I don't ever remember hearing, even you mentioned it a couple of times on the broadcast, and the players mentioned the spectators. And I just, we've done this for so long, and so I could have missed it a few times here and there, but I don't ever remember hearing that many great reviews about the city and fans before.
I don't think that anybody could ever say they topped that. the PGA Championship moves around. And we actually re-aired it a couple of weeks ago, and Brooks Koepka joined me to talk about some of the moments, the key moments in the round. He actually did some play-by-play with me. And again, all we kept getting back to was the incredible support. I mean, I've never had such a problem. It's a good problem to have, just to make my way from the compound to the 18th tower, because it just was 10, 15, 20 people deep. There was a visual in that final round. Tiger makes this remarkable Sunday charge, birdies the 72nd hole, and then there was this bridge that the players had to cross over, a walking bridge, to get to the scorer's tent back on the side of the clubhouse. And we have one of our mini cams, Will Baker, following him. And Tiger gave a nod to the sea of spectators, and Will panned his camera to the left. And it was one of the most awesome shots I've ever seen in golf. I mean, it looked like there were 100,000 people down there waving at him. But whatever it was, 10,000 probably is closer to what the number would have been. But it was an incredible sight as they were cheering him on, walking to the scorer's tent and saluting the great champion who would end up coming in second to Brooks Koepka. But that was St. Louis. And, I got to go back and listen to the broadcast a little closer. And I, at that moment in the show, I did pay homage to the remarkable support, the level of support that we've seen this week. Unparalleled.
Yeah, it was really an amazing thing. And, for me, Jim, what was really significant about that week is I felt like Tiger took that next step for kind of reclaiming his spot on the tour.
Well, he would win the next major. 8 months later, he would have what I called the return to glory. He won after an 11-year absence of taking a major. And I think that a lot of it had to do with what happened right there at Belle Reve. Of course, just shortly after that, he would win a little more than a month later, he'd win the Tour Championship. So it really, it kind of traced back to that day, which was a crazy final day. He didn't even hit a fairway on the front side and still shot 3 under on the front, shot 64 for the day. But, you also had Brooks Koepka as your champion, which he would come back and defend successfully. When the PGA moved to its new date in May of 2019, he would win it again. It was an incredible leaderboard. We had Justin Thomas in contention, Adam Scott. Adam was right there playing with Brooks in the final pairing, and many other luminaries that were, right there on the fringe. So it was enough in my mind to earn yet another PGA Championship at Belle Reve whenever the schedule will allow.
Yeah, that was spectacular. Jim, I did my prep for this talk. I'm so thrilled to be able to just hang out with you. And my hat is off to you. Thank you. Off to you with all of the accomplishments. But since we started on golf, let's just stay with golf. I mean, you started in 1986 at the Masters, and you've been hosting at Augusta since 1989. I can't tell you, A, how much I miss sports, and B, how much your voice has just been symbolic with my comfort of sport. And, it's like something's missing. It's like you're sitting at the family table and somebody's gone.
Well, I put a lot of people to sleep during these Saturday and Sunday golf shows. I've been accused of that. I actually get that quite a bit. And, people will actually write me or tell me that there's no nap that's more soothing or deeper than the Saturday or Sunday afternoon golf nap, listening to Jim Nantz and watching CBS Golf. And I know they mean it as a compliment. I think they do anyway. Rodney Harrison, when he was playing for the Patriots one time, walked into one of our meeting rooms and said, "Man, I owe you so much. I get the best naps in the off season listening to you. And, it's awesome, the CBS Golf and how you do it. And you put me to sleep every time." Well, again, I know he meant it as a compliment. But, I worked with Phil Simms. I love Phil for 13 years. He never let that one go away. He reminded me so many times about what Rodney said. But it is what it is. Golf's a relaxing thing to watch, and you want people to get kind of like into it, like lose themselves in it. If that means they nod off, they nod off. But all I can tell you is I'm not close to falling asleep. I mean, there's probably a lot more intensity than maybe my voice reflects. But man, I hang on every shot. I'm hopelessly in love with the game. I never had anywhere close to a career that anybody would ever care about as a player. But I always wanted to be a broadcaster. And I mean, I was freakishly like stalking the PGA Tour and golf when I was a kid. I couldn't get enough of it. My parents would go out of their way to make sure, drive me to tournament sites and drop me off and let me run around for the day, knowing that I wouldn't get in any hijinks or trouble. But the number of tournaments that I could tell you that my parents, with a modest income, what they did to let their son live the dream of being around this tour, whether it was dropping me. Well, I can tell you this for starters. Every year, our spring break, we were living in New Jersey during my high school and grade school years. They would drive for 2 days, stop one stop 600 miles down the road, stay in a motel, get back on the road. We would drive 2 days to go to wherever the tour was located that given week in March. Jacksonville. This is before the Players' Championship at the old Jacksonville Open. Inverrary, Doral, you name it. Wherever our break fell, my folks would drive 4 days total round trip. Just drive me to a tournament, buy me a ticket, and allow me to go out and run around and watch the PGA Tour.
What a story.
I've never lost that appreciation for, just now having a chance to have the access of sitting behind the 18th hour. I still look down and remember the kid that was running around in awe of it all.
But, Jim, you were a great player. I mean, you played on a terrific University of Houston team.
I hate to shoot down a dear friend. Great. I've never been called a great player, so I do need a copy of this show. I need to hear that a few more times.
You got it, man.
I was a good enough player to make the University of Houston golf team, but I was completely outclassed talent-wise when I got there. The coach thought I had some ability and thought that I had the potential to maybe be able to help his golf program, which was a great golf program,
terrific program at the time.
Nothing to the cause. I was I was the 18th man on an 18-man golf team. Now I might have been 17th 1 or 2 weeks along the way, but that would have been a fluke. You had to turn in a score every day, Jay. You had to go out and play. Everything had to be holed. The coach would set up your groups and tell you where you'd go play, and the scorecard had to come back, signed and attested. I was out of my league. But, I didn't have that burning passion. I loved the game as a player, but the passion was to be able to be a guy that was going to comment on it and tell the stories behind it.
That's pretty cool.
Luckily for me, fortunately for me, that came true.
You're talking about Coach Williams as well, right? The legendary Coach Williams down in.
He was the man. I mean, he had one of his former players named Ron Weber, who was the head pro at the Woodlands. He had been a tour player early in the 60s and had a couple of runner-up finishes on the tour. But Mr. Weber came back and was the head pro, and he saw me hitting balls on the range one day. This is in the summer of 77. I'm all set, enrolled at the University of Texas a month from actually going there in Austin. He saw me hitting balls, and somebody made an introduction. He said, wow. He said, what's your background? I told him I had just moved down from graduating high school in New Jersey. And he said, you can really play. Are you going to play college golf at Texas? I said, oh, no. No, at one time I actually talked to the Clemson coach, but they didn't show a lot of interest. So I'm going to go to Texas and, pursue broadcasting and this kind of thing. He said, I'd like you to meet Dave Williams. I said, of course I knew who he was. Dave Williams needs to see you. He needs to meet you. And he took me into his office behind the pro shop, or, the side of the pro shop. He got on his Rolodex and he called Dave Williams right in front of me, right in my company. And Dave Williams said, yeah, I'll come out and see him. He said, when are you available? He leaned over and I said, well, anytime. I'm wide open. He said, well, how about tomorrow? I said, sure. He said, we'll be out here at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I showed up the next day, and Mr. Weber introduced me to Coach Williams as I'd already loosened up and hit some balls on the range, and I was putting. And I went over and very respectfully met the great man. And he said, Jimbo, he called me Jimbo. He said, I want you to go out and play 9 holes. I'm going to follow you around in the cart. Don't even acknowledge I'm there. It's like I'm not even there. Don't even think about it. You go play 9 holes. I'm going to watch you, and then we'll talk after the round. I said, when's a good time? Mr. Weber said, the tee's open. Let's go. So he ended up driving the coach around, his former coach. So the pro and the head coach sat in the cart for 9 holes. I went birdie, 1 and 2. I'm not going to make you take a card here yourself. But I birdied the first 2 holes, and I played the last 7 holes 4 over. 4 bogeys, 3 pars to go with the 2 early birdies. I shot 38. I thought I'd probably thrown it away with that scratchy finish. But when I walked off the 9th hole, and I hit some decent shots, but I was never consistent. The coach came out of his cart and he said, Jimbo, how would you like to be a Cougar?
Oh, my God.
And I said, University of Houston Cougar? He said, yes. I want you to play for my golf team. Now, I can't offer you a scholarship, but I'd like you to come to our school and be a part of my team. They're coming off a national championship, by the way. So I did. I had to apply before I could enroll and get accepted. All that came together, and then in late August of 1977, I went over to the campus and met the 6 other freshmen that were part of my class. And these are guys that you know, Freddie Couples, Blaine McAllister. These are buddies of yours. And a guy named John Horn, who you may have played with.
I did play with John Horn. Horny was a great guy.
Yeah, great guy. I just talked to John. His birthday was a few weeks ago. Great pal. So they were the 3 star recruits who got scholarship money. I was just, a flunky walk-on kid. And I ended up, after the first semester, after the first year, I ended up moving in to the dorm with those 3. The 4 of us shared a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom suite. And they became lifetime buddies. And I got to be on the Houston golf team.
Man, it was a powerhouse. It was a powerhouse back then. I got recruited a little bit by Dave Williams and had some of the, for me, everything was done, Jim, by telephone. And I had never met him. I read about him and just in books, and people told me about him. And we had some strange conversations because he said one time to me, Jay, do you look good in red? And I'm thinking, man, I don't think I look good in anything. He said, Cougar Red. Do you look good in Cougar Red? And I said, yes, sir.
I know that's 100% accurate. That's exactly what he said to me. How would you like to be a Cougar? So he had so much pride in being a Houston Cougar and that Cougar Red. And that's when when he talked to you, I know exactly. I can see him saying it to you, Jay.
That's going to wrap up the front 9. So come back. Pearlie and I are going to be here, but we get to listen to more Jim Nantz. Jim Nantz on the back 9 on Golf with Jay Delsing.
WXOS HD1 East St. Louis, 101 ESPN.
For 67 years, Blue Fuse has been the ride to take. 15 brands at 11 locations. Blue Fuse Automotive. We are St. Louis.
Are your workouts more fun than this? Well, if they are, then I want to sign you to an endorsement deal with Michelob Ultra. I'm looking for anyone and everyone who makes working out a blast. If that's you, head to TeamUltra.com for a chance to score awesome perks like Team Ultra gear and more. That's TeamUltra.com to enter.
No purchase necessary. Open U.S. residents 21 plus. See official rules at TeamUltra.com. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
In these extremely trying times, the management team at Marcone would like to give a shout out to our 500-plus employees and their families. Their diligence and commitment to each other, our process, and our company are so good that we are obligated to state it publicly. We are so grateful for each and every one of you. You have all contributed to our success, and your dedication is imperative to the continued growth of our company. Thank you for your efforts. Marcone is the largest distributor of general electric appliance parts in North America, based in St. Louis, Missouri.
We're all experiencing very trying times right now, but hopefully we can reflect a little bit on the things that matter the most to us, like family and community. At St. Louis Bank, we want to wish you and your family safety and good health. We're a part of this community, and we are all in this together. In such uncertain financial times, you've probably never needed your bank to step up and support you more. We know, we hear you, and we are here for you. Our banking experts are doing everything they can to help. We're offering a skip-a-payment to all consumer accounts for mortgage loans and home equity line of credits. We're offering payment modifications with up to a 6-month deferral. Our commercial and SBA loans will be handled on a case-by-case basis to provide the best relief for each unique situation. We understand that communication and speed are essential during this critical time. Get in touch with your commercial banking officer to take advantage of this program. If you'd like to speak with us, you can call 314-851-6200. We are going to move through this hardship, and we're going to do it together. St. Louis Bank, here for you when you need us today and in brighter days ahead.
This is Dan McLaughlin, TV voice of the Cardinals. St. Louis is one of the best sports cities in the country. We also have a tremendous history of supporting professional golf. We're excited to bring golf back to St. Louis with the inaugural Ascension Charity Classic, September 28th through October 4th at Norwood Hills Country Club. Don't miss your chance to see PGA Tour champion legends. Proceeds will benefit St. Louis area youth, including the Urban League, Marygrove, the Boys and Girls Club, and more. For tickets and sponsorship information, head to AscensionCharityClassic.com.
For the last 48 years, Pro-Am Golf has been providing outstanding customer service to the greater St. Louis area for all of our golf needs. From top-of-the-line equipment to full-service club repair lessons and instructions. They now have their own retail outlet as well as state-of-the-art computers, cameras, and things to customize all of your personal club fitting needs. Pro-Am Golf carries all the major brands. They also have the latest fashion trends from Puma Golf. Whatever your needs, Pro-Am Golf will meet them and have the best customer service in the industry. Call us at 314-781-7775 or find us at ProAmGolfUSA.com.
USA Mortgage is doing it again. Joe Sheezer and his staff have lowered rates again this month, and they will waive closing costs if you want to refinance to get cash out, lower your rate, shorten your term, or eliminate that costly, unnecessary mortgage insurance. If you are purchasing a property, they can issue a pre-approval letter within minutes. They are the largest mortgage company in the state of Missouri, and their volume allows them to quote the lowest rates. Don't waste your time with the national online brokers. USA Mortgage is employee-owned and operated right here in St. Louis. Joe Sheezer has closed over $500 million in loans in nearly 30 years in the business and over $2 million alone to Delsing's.
This is a subject that most people don't want to talk about, but many find themselves facing. Their marriage is ending and they need to find a good lawyer at the most difficult time in their life. Or maybe you're like me, divorced for almost 15 years, but you're still wrestling with hassles, maintenance, and other hard-to-figure-out issues. Do yourself a favor and call 314-788-3030. That's the law office of my buddy and attorney, Henry Miller. I was living under the burden of unfair maintenance and a few other things that could only be settled in the courtroom. My only regret is that I didn't use Henry years ago. He is first and foremost smart and hardworking. But what was really important to me is that he listened. He's also fair and extremely honest. We had an odd issue arise where I had paid for something that was not allowed to be used in our case. After one call and an email, it was settled and that charge was removed. Do yourself a favor and call Henry Miller. He is the man you can trust when you need him the most. You can also reach him at GrantMillerSmith.com.
We're halfway there. It's time for the Back Nine on Golf with Jay Delsing. The Back Nine is brought to you by St. Louis Bank.
Welcome back to Golf with Jay Delsing. I'm your host, Jay. Got Pearly with me. Brad Barnes is taking care of us with our buttons and knobs and things like that, and hopefully making us sound halfway decent. But we're on the Back Nine, brought to you by St. Louis Bank. And they've been a great friend of the show. All right, we're going to go right back into the...
Good. It's relaxing. It's enjoyable. I get to reminisce. There's a lot of good things listening to Jim Nantz.
Yep, Jim Nantz, guys, on Golf with Jay Delsing.
They go length of the court with Archie Diacono. 3 seconds at midcourt. Jenkins gives it to Jenkins for the championship. The national champions. Jenkins hitting the winner at the buzzer.
The Jim Nantz interview on Golf with Jay Delsing is brought to you by Golden Tee.
What a fortunate thing for the number of people that we have met. Let's just stay with golf. You have the NFL, you have your NCAA hoops, and all the other things that you're doing. But the game of golf has, allowed me to hang out with people that I had no business knowing. And I can't say enough about this game, and I can't thank it enough, and I can't do enough to give back to it.
Beautifully said, and that is golf. And golfers, if they can really be honest with themselves, and I think people are so in the middle of their careers and competing so fiercely that they don't have that reflection or nostalgic mechanism in them yet. But I do hear more people extolling the greatness of the game for golf than any other sport an athlete talks about their given sport of choice. Golfers are an appreciative bunch. They're incredibly loyal. But if there's a constant refrain and message, it's just how golf has put us into a position that's just unimaginable. It is. The people that you meet through this game, and look, you went to UCLA. I mean, you were living in, your rounds of golf. Your home course is Bel Air Country Club. I can only even imagine right there for starters. The kids, as a kid, the legends you got to meet, but the game has a grateful heart to it. It has a soul. And the people that are able to express it like you, I'm on their team. Those are the people I want to be with, because that's where I'm coming from, just exactly like you expressed it.
I can remember when I was, I think I was 19 years old, 18 or 19 as a freshman, and I'm just standing on the putting green. I'm still in awe of West LA. I don't know what I'm doing out in California. I'm just so excited to be there. And I get a tap on the shoulder, and I turn around, and this guy says, in this kind of Scottish-y accent, says, "Young man, would you be interested in playing 9 holes of golf with me?" And I turn around, "Jim, it's damn Sean Connery." And I said, I'll caddy for you. My gosh, I'll do anything you want, because this is James Bond. But this was, 1979? Oh, my gosh, it was like
Connery
royalty.
79, even though he's always going to be regarded as one of the legendary actors of all time. In 1979, name the biggest star today, and that's what you got tapped on the shoulder and walked into.
And how does a 19-year-old in any other space get to hang out with someone like him? But it's the game of golf.
It is the game of golf. And now I'm not trying to, not usurp or match that story, but I had the freakish chance to play golf with Sean Connery myself. It's a doozy, but it was my first year of broadcasting the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. So you're going to go back to the mid-'80s, 1986. And I had played golf at Cypress Point. Again, what am I doing there? With Frank Cherkinian, our father of golf television, and Ken Venturi. First time I ever laid eyes on Cypress. I played with those two. And I had the round of my life, I'm not going to lie. In fact, people today, if they play with me, say, there's no way you ever did what you said you did. But I made 5 birdies on the front 9, Jay, for starters.
Wow.
Okay. And I birdied 13 for a 6th birdie, and I still shot 77 with 6 birdies. Okay.
Yeah.
But that night, I'm at dinner. I'm just a young kid hanging on the coattails of all these legendary broadcast people. And we're at the lodge, and Cherkinian says at the end of the night, after a lot of wine had been consumed by most of the bunch, not me. I didn't even know much about any worldly things like wine at that time in my life. Not even 4 years removed from college. He said, "Jimmy, I'm supposed to play tomorrow with a couple of guys over at Cypress. You go back and play. Go into the shop and tell Jim Langley that I couldn't make it and that you're going to play in place of me." I had made a game. I'm not going to tell you who you're playing with, but go on over there. So I did. I showed up at the appointed time. I walked in and met one of the greatest men I've ever known in my life, Jim Langley, the late
terrific
head pro
person.
at Cypress Point. And he said, well, you're on the tee, the group after next. He said, you were playing with, rattled off the names, and one of whom was Sean Connery, which just what in the world is going on. By the way, Sean Connery carried his own bag. Talk about a man's man. He, caddies is a very big part of the culture at Cypress. Walking is, but he preferred to carry his own bag. He said he preferred to carry his own club, so he did. And I ended up not only playing with him, but giving him. He needed a ride back to the lodge after our round, and I had a rental car that was one of those big old Cadillacs like they used to make, the long version. And I had another passenger that was in our group named Howard Keel, who had been an actor. You probably met Howard Keel.
I sure knew Howard Keel. Yes, I sure did.
Nice man. So Mr. Keel had been with us too. He sat in the front seat, passenger seat. I was going to be driving these two icons back nervously along 17-mile drive past the Lone Cypress just to get them back safely, hopefully, to the lodge. And I threw the bags in the trunk, and I came around the driver's side, and I saw the back left door was still open. Connery was in the back seat. And I slammed the door rather forcefully without realizing that Connery still had his left leg was on the pavement and not in the car. And all of a sudden I heard this blood-curdling scream, and I didn't realize I'd shut the door on Connery. And he kind of worked his way out of the car and was hopping around in complete agony in the Cypress Point parking lot. And there was blood that was trickling out of his pants trouser on that shin bone just above the ankle.
Oh,
and it even had slightly torn his trouser. But he was in horrific pain. And I'm standing around like, what did I just do? Did I just injure James Bond? Did I just take him out of this tournament? How am I going to go back and tell Frank Cherkinian that I've just taken one of the biggest stars from his celebrity field and sent him home to Scotland, WD. But even though there was a weird kind of satisfaction that I had done something that the likes of Goldfinger and Blofeld and all those had never done before, drawing blood from Bond, he did show these amazing powers of recovery. And within about 5 or 10 minutes, he was able to walk normally and hop back into the car and kind of let go of it. And off we went back to the lodge. I'm feeling just awful and humiliated and embarrassed. But when I got to the front of the lodge, he and Howard Keel said they were going to Club 19 for lunch. Would I want to join them? So all things forgotten, I went back and had lunch with James Bond, Sean Connery, and Howard Keel. And again, how does golf do this? I have no idea. But I'll never forget that day, I can tell you that.
That is a fantastic story. Jim, your first year down at Augusta was 86, right? And you weren't on the 18th yet. You were on the 16th,
no,
I think.
16.
And that's the year that Jack...
Which I probably shouldn't have been, be honest. I mean, I don't know how Frank entrusted me with that, but I was at the 16th hole. Well, it's late in the game, as you know. And we had announcers starting with Bob Murphy stationed at the 10th hole all the way in. So by the time the action gets to 16, there's been a lot of commentary following the lead groups, been a lot of material, anecdotal things that have been said. And, I'm highly inexperienced at this point, and the Jack Nicklaus epic 6-green jacket performance is unfolding. I mean, it doesn't even feel real to this day, Jay, especially the more time lapses and goes by. They re-aired the 86 Masters the week of Augusta this year, and a lot of people commented on it and reached out to me, hearing me from back then, and even showing me on camera as looked like a kid, still in high school. But I can remember the raw feeling of nervousness that day, and just trying to get through that show without saying something stupid or something that wouldn't be worthy of a CBS broadcast. And fearful that, I might be one and done here. I'm just hoping to figure out a way to get back for 87. And anyway, luckily for me, some magical things happened with the competition. Jack hit a shot at my hole that came off the slope and flirted with the cup before settling about 3.5 feet below the hole. And I didn't say anything after he hit the shot and walked around water's edge. And Frank kept his cameras trained on Nicklaus. He never cut away from it. And I did like I did last year when Tiger won the green jacket. I just laid out. I thought, man, the visual's so strong, and if I try to insert myself in this thing right now, I'm gonna sound stupid. This will be grounds for dismissal. So finally, Jack got over the putt, and when he knocked it in the cup, I said, the bear has come out of hibernation. And I don't know how I came up with that line or why I said it, but at first I felt like maybe somebody had already said that. As soon as it left my lips, I wanted to reel it back in off the satellite. But there is no such thing as being able to erase a comment on live television. It's gone and back down into people's living rooms about a second later. And so I was beating myself up pretty hard for the remainder of that show. We still had Norman and Kite to come through, and some significant things, happened with both of them at 16. And then I watched the rest of the tournament unfold, including the green jacket ceremony, from my perch at 16 before I walked back to the compound. That we went off the air, and just couldn't believe that I'd been an eyewitness to this amazing, unthinkable 46-year-old Jack Nicklaus victory. And I was still kind of feeling a little bit down on myself, beating myself up for what I thought had been a comment that had already been used. And there's a story here, but I'll spare you. But Trachinian, when I got to the compound, driven there by Venturi, who had seen me walking, and pulled up in a golf cart and offered me a ride the rest of the way to the CBS compound. And I got in front of Frank, who you knew Frank well. He respected you so much. Frank got to know all you guys really well. There's some guys you just thought were a brighter, cut above. You definitely were one of those guys.
Oh, my God.
But when I saw Frank, I said, thank you for allowing me the chance to be a part of this, Mr. Trachinian. And I said, I'm really sorry about that comment I said at 16. He said, what the hell are you talking about, son? I said, the bear has come out of hibernation. He said, well, what's your problem with it? And I said, well, I believe somebody else had already said it before I did. He said, no, they didn't. Only you. And it was a great line. And you're going to be doing this for a long time, son. Now get the hell out of my office.
Okay, so I want to jump right into it, but let's just break for the back nine, and we'll break it down on the Ultra 19th hole.
He led the NFC in both kickoff returns and punt returns. And the Colts have had a hard time all season covering kicks. It's Hester trying to work it back to the middle. Gets past the first wave, and here he goes. It's Hester inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown. And no flag, 92 yards.
The 100,000-watt blowtorch for St. Louis sports. Driven by Auto Centers Nissan. Home of the 30-day return. WXOS and WXOS HD1. East St. Louis. 101 ESPN.
Are you in the market for some new clubs? Maybe a bag and the latest style of sweet new shoes? Is this the year you decide to stop listening to your buddy's advice and get some real golf instruction? If any of these appeal to you, then go to Pro-Am Golf today. Pro-Am Golf has all the latest gear from all the major manufacturers. Call Steve today at 314-781-7775 and schedule a lesson with Tom DeGrand. Tom is the best. He's been in the game for over 50 years, so you take that knowledge along with their state-of-the-art equipment, and boom, your game will get a whole lot better. Visit them at ProAmGolfUSA.com.
You've seen it and played it in bars over the past 30 years, and now you can bring Golden Tee to your home. Complete your basement or man cave with the popular arcade game, The Ultimate Virtual Golfing Experience. Over 80 courses, unique game modes, and you can even challenge a buddy in online tournaments. However you play, you will be the talk of your neighborhood. Visit home.goldentee.com to learn more.
Extraordinary effort deserves recognition. The management team at Marcone would like to say thank you to our over 500 employees and their families. Your dedication and commitment to our success has been so steadfast that we are experiencing another incredible year at a time when many businesses are struggling. Your performance has exceeded expectations. Every idea shared and every opportunity seized by you has led us to new heights. So, thank you. Marcone is based in St. Louis, Missouri, and is the largest distributor of general electric appliance parts in North America.
USA Mortgage is doing it again. Joe Sheezer and his staff have lowered rates again this month, and they will waive closing costs if you want to refinance to get cash out, lower your rate, shorten your term, or eliminate that costly, unnecessary mortgage insurance. If you are purchasing a property, they can issue a pre-approval letter within minutes. They are the largest mortgage company in the state of Missouri, and their volume allows them to quote the lowest rates. Don't waste your time with the national online brokers. USA Mortgage is employee-owned and operated right here in St. Louis. Joe Sheezer has closed over $500 million in loans in nearly 30 years in the business and over $2 million alone to Delsing's.
Grab your friends, a cold one, and pull up a chair. We're on to the 19th hole on golf with Jay Delsing.
The 19th hole is brought to you by Michelob Ultra.
Welcome back to Golf with Jay Delsing. We are coming to the 19th hole. Clearly, one of our favorite times of the show
absolutely.
and times of life. And it's brought to you by Michelob Ultra, which I'm just delighted to have just a powerhouse brand like Ultra be involved. You know, Brooks Koepka is their kind of spokesperson. So
I like the commercials they've got with him. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. All right, so the Jim Nantz stuff. First of all, let me thank Kathy and Bob Donahue for supporting the show. Their painting and refinishing business is blowing up right now. They, if you have any sort of work you want done with your home, call Kathy and Bob. They're terrific people. They do a great job. John, I started something before I jump into the Nantz. I started last week, a Delsing report where I'm actually doing some product review. It's brought to you by Pro-Am Golf, and it's pretty interesting stuff. I did a wedge series with Titleist. I did a Leupold laser.
All your social media, your radio show, and now you've got a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
The waves are flooded with Jay Delsing information.
It's pretty scary. I'm doing it. You know how sometimes, Pro, like with Sniper brand golf, you got a real precision.
Yeah, and you're hawking a golf ball internationally.
That's right. I'm not. I'm going shotgun theory, Pearl.
Well, some things never change. There is no doubt about some things never change. When does the man sleep? That's what I want to know.
I didn't want anyone to think that I was focusing too much.
Yeah, not going to worry about that. Not going to worry about that.
No, so let's throw the Sniper thing in there real quick. We just got an endorsement and an agreement done with David Faraday. So, folks, every dozen balls that and hats for that matter, that we sell with the Sniper brand logo and $1 will go to Troops First.
It's awesome. That's awesome.
It's really awesome.
Right. And just doing stuff with Faraday. I mean, I know the positive energy, guys all over the place too. Just cool stuff.
We got a lot of shotguns between the two of us. But
few.
You know what? The Jim Nantz thing. I can't wait for next week's show as well because he's going to be on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just hearing him is so relaxing. It's almost like a family friend walked in the door or something.
Yeah, it does it. You know, he was kind of teasing or making light of himself on that a little bit through the interview. It is relaxing. It is never boring. It's just relaxing. It's comforting. The sincerity and the guy. It's a lot of positive, but you don't feel like it's forced. He just sees the positive in stuff.
Guys, that's going to do it for another show. Man, they haven't kicked us off.
Wrap up right there.
I don't know what to say. I mean, Pearl, thanks for being with me, and Meat, thanks for doing this. Next week, we got another episode of Jim Nantz.
Yep.
It's Golf with Jay Delsing. Hit him straight, St. Louis.
That was Golf with Jay Delsing, brought to you by Whitmore Country Club. Tune in next Sunday for more from Jay, John, and the other pros and experts from the golf world. In the meantime, you can find all of Jay's shows at 101ESPN.com as well as at jdelsinggolf.com.